In Lesson 7, we are going to look a little bit more at the mean. As we saw in the last lesson, the center of a distribution can be described using the mean. We found the mean using the fair share method and proved our mean was correct by using the sum of the deviations. Today, we will see another way to find the mean of a set of data. Michelle asked her classmates how many hours of sleep they got each night. Their responses in hours were as follows. Find the mean number of hours the classmates slept. So another way to find the mean of a set of data, and you would want to use this when you have larger numbers, so I wouldn't want to draw 8 blocks. I could do the number line with the dot plot for this one, but sometimes we're going to get numbers that are much larger and it would be much more difficult to do this with, especially with larger sets of data. So when you have larger numbers or larger sets of data, what you can do to find the mean is you can add all the data or get the sum of your data, and then you're going to divide by the number of pieces of data. Okay, so what I would do here is I would take all of these numbers, 8 plus 10 plus 8 plus 8 plus 11 plus 11 plus 9 plus 8 plus 10 plus 7, add them all up, and I'm going to forewarn you, you want to be very, very careful about adding them up. You may want to try adding them a couple of times to make sure you get the same thing. You can use your calculator, so you would want to make sure that you're adding carefully. Double check that you get the same answer each time. So in this case, if I add them all up, I get 90. So I've added all the data, and now I'm going to take that total, and I am going to divide it by 10. And I'm dividing by 10 because that's the number of pieces of data. If you count, there are 10 numbers you added together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's where this 10 is coming from. If I do 90 divided by 10, I get 9. So in this case, my mean is 9. So again, it's the total divided by the number of pieces of data, and that's going to equal the mean. Okay, so that is one thing you're going to be asked to do, is take a data set and find the mean from it. Another thing you're going to be asked to do is find a missing value. So you're going to be given a set of numbers that has a missing value. You'll also be given the mean of that data set, and you're going to have to find the missing piece of data. So if you think about it, the first thing we did previously was to find a total for the data set. So we're going to find the total of the number of pieces of data we have so far. So far I know I have 28 and 36. So I'm going to add those together to get my total so far. After I do that, when I showed you the end result, I had a total that I divided by the number of pieces of data, and my answer was the mean. So I'm going to use this to help me figure out my missing number. So I'm going to have a total, which isn't quite this, but almost this, that I'm going to be dividing by the number of pieces of data to get my mean. And I can fill in some of these numbers. I don't know the total yet. I know how many total pieces of data there are, though. I had 1, 2, and then I'll have 3. And they're telling me my mean is 35. What I can do to figure out what this total is what I would do to check a division problem. When you check a division problem, you take your quotient and multiply it by your divisor, and it will give you your dividend. So if I take 35 and multiply it by 3, it will give me my total. So altogether, all of the numbers in the set should equal 105 when I add them together. I know what I have so far. I have 64. So to figure out what the last piece of data would be, I would take the total I'm supposed to have and subtract out what I have so far to find that 41 is the last piece of data. Okay, so again, what I did was add all numbers in set that you have. I then multiply, and it doesn't matter which order really you do these two in. I multiply the mean and the total number of pieces of data, and that includes the missing one. So include missing value in that count. Okay, and then I subtract my total from the previous step from here. So my total or my product from the previous step and the total so far. Okay, so those are your 3 steps. Add together, see what you have so far, take your mean, multiply it by the number of pieces of data you should have total, and then subtract the 2 numbers.